Have you ever felt overwhelmed? Like there just aren't enough hours in the day to become the person you want to be? We're bombarded with advice, optimized routines promising peak performance. But what if those routines are designed for a life most of us simply don't live? Lately, a lot of the conversation has revolved around Andrew Huberman, a neuroscientist whose science-backed daily routine has taken the internet by storm. It's appealing, isn't it? The idea that we can hack our brains for success. But here's the quiet truth. Those hacks often require a level of freedom, of time, that feels unattainable. If you're juggling a full-time job, family commitments, a side hustle, a life, you're probably nodding along right now. I am too. And I started to wonder, is the Huberman routine even possible for the rest of us? Is it worth trying to force-fit it into an already packed schedule? That's what I set out to discover. Let's break down the core elements of this routine. It's remarkably specific, meticulously researched. You can actually find detailed protocols for each step, backed by scientific studies. I'm going to walk you through the basics and be honest about where I succeeded and where reality intervened. First, Huberman emphasizes waking at a consistent time, usually around 6 a.m., and immediately noting it. Seems simple enough. Then comes sunlight. 10 to 30 minutes of direct sun exposure, ideally within the first hour of waking, to regulate your circadian rhythm. He explains how this signals your body to prepare for sleep later that night. It's elegant, powerful, and relies on the sun actually being visible. Next, morning hydration, often paired with intermittent fasting and electrolytes. A simple glass of water or a more elaborate concoction. Then a dedicated meditation practice, typically 10 to 15 minutes, focused on specific techniques. Following that, a crucial 90-minute block of deep, focused work, reserved for your most important tasks. And finally, exercise, cold exposure, and a carefully timed first meal. It's a comprehensive system, a system that demands significant time and control over your day. I started to map it out, to see how it could conceivably fit into my life. And honestly, the initial view was daunting. I work a 9 to 5, and then dedicate evenings and weekends to YouTube. I have a social life, chores, the constant demands of simply living. So I needed a plan. I decided to wake up at 6 a.m., aiming to incorporate sunlight, hydration, and meditation within the first half hour. Reasonable, right? But then the first obstacle appeared: commuting. The days I work in the office demand a morning routine focused on preparation, on presentation. No leisurely meditation when you need to be presentable and on the bus by 8. That 90-minute work block, so vital to Huberman's routine, had to shift. On office days, it became a fragmented aspiration, squeezed between meetings and emails. And meetings, they were a constant. A relentless stream of scheduled commitments that splintered my focus and devoured potential work time. On weekends, when I had more control, the 90-minute block felt achievable, even liberating. But the weekdays, a constant negotiation with reality. Then there was exercise. Huberman is impressively fit. His routine reflects that. But I'm not a gym rat. I don't have hours to dedicate to intense workouts. So I opted for a 1-hour block, factoring in travel time and preparation. On weekends, it was manageable. During the week, impossible. The commute, the meetings, the limited lunch break, it just wouldn't fit. Instead, I committed to a brisk walk during my lunch break on office days. A compromise but still movement. Cold exposure, another key element, was also a challenge. I don't have a cold plunge, so I resolved to end my shower with a blast of icy water, a small shock to the system, a little dose of discomfort. And finally, the timing of meals. Huberman advocates for intermittent fasting, delaying your first meal until later in the day. I've experimented with intermittent fasting before, and I appreciate its benefits, particularly for focus and blood sugar regulation. I decided to aim for a noon meal, but quickly realized the flexibility of my schedule meant I often ate later. I meticulously documented my attempts, tracking my progress, noting the inevitable deviations. And what I found was revealing. Waking up and noting the time. Surprisingly easy. I actually enjoyed the ritual, the sense of intentionality. Sunlight and hydration. Achievable even on the commute. The walk to the office became my daily dose of vitamin D. But meditation, that was a struggle. The mornings felt too rushed, too chaotic. I tried guided meditations, mindfulness apps, but consistently fell short of the recommended 10 to 15 minutes. The 90-minute work block, as predicted, proved to be the biggest challenge. On the days I could carve out that uninterrupted time, it was transformative. My focus sharpened, my productivity soared. But those days were rare. The constant interruptions of office life, the endless stream of emails and Slack messages, made sustained concentration nearly impossible. I found myself constantly pulled in multiple directions, my attention fractured and fragmented. The weekends, however, were a different story. With no meetings, no commute, no immediate demands on my time, I was able to fully immerse myself in deep work. It felt luxurious. Caffeine was another area where I deviated from the plan. Huberman emphasizes delaying caffeine intake for at least 90 minutes after waking to avoid disrupting your natural cortisol rhythms. I tried, I really did. But some mornings, the allure of that first cup of coffee was simply too strong. I'd brew a cup and then attempt to focus on work, rationalizing that the benefits outweighed the potential drawbacks. Exercise, as expected, was the most difficult to maintain. The hour-long gym sessions felt unrealistic, especially after a long day at work. I prioritized shorter, more frequent workouts when I could, but often found myself sacrificing exercise altogether. The cold shower, though, initially daunting, quickly became a surprisingly enjoyable ritual. The initial shock was unpleasant, but the invigorating feeling that followed was undeniable. It felt like a small act of defiance, a way to push myself beyond my comfort zone. And the evening routine, dimming the lights, disconnecting from screens, reading a book that was challenging. I'm addicted to my phone. I scroll through social media, check emails, endlessly refresh news feeds. Breaking that habit felt almost physically painful. I managed to carve out a half hour of screen-free time most nights, replacing mindless scrolling with a few chapters of a good book. It made a difference. My sleep felt deeper, more restorative, but completely disconnecting for a full hour. That felt unattainable. So, after a week of meticulously attempting to embody the Huberman routine, what did I learn? I learned that optimization isn't one size fits all. It's not about rigidly adhering to a prescribed set of rules, but about finding what works for you within the constraints of your life. I'm keeping the morning sunlight and hydration. Those are non-negotiable. I'm going to continue prioritizing the 90-minute work block, even if it means scheduling it strategically, protecting it fiercely. I'll keep experimenting with exercise, finding ways to incorporate movement into my day, even on busy weeks. The cold shower. I'm sticking with that. It's a small, manageable habit with surprisingly powerful benefits. And intermittent fasting. That's staying too. It aligns with my body, my energy levels, my goals. But I'm letting go of the rigidity, the pressure to achieve perfection. I'm accepting that some days will be more optimized than others, and that's okay. Life is messy, unpredictable. And sometimes, you just need to give yourself grace. Is the Huberman routine possible with a full-time job? I'd say not fully. Not in its idealized form. But elements of it, the science-backed principles, the focus on intentionality, can absolutely be integrated into a busy life. It requires adaptation, compromise, and a willingness to experiment. It requires acknowledging that your time is finite and prioritizing what truly matters. It's about finding a balance between optimization and enjoyment, between striving for peak performance and simply living. And for me, that means embracing a routine that's flexible enough to accommodate the demands of my work, my passions, and my life. It's about creating a sustainable rhythm, not a relentless pursuit of perfection. It's about building habits that support my well-being, not deplete my energy. So take the inspiration, learn from the science, but don't be afraid to tailor it to your own unique circumstances. Because ultimately, the most effective routine is the one you can actually stick to. The one that empowers you to live a more focused, more energized, more fulfilling life. Not the one that leaves you feeling exhausted and overwhelmed. What about you? Have you tried implementing any of Huberman's recommendations? What worked, what did? Share your experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more content on productivity, well-being, and the pursuit of a balanced life. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time, your attention, and your support. And remember, you are capable of amazing things. You just need to find a routine that works for you.